Well, wanted to ask you with such a big time game and one of these teams is ranked, and this is on national television. How big is this for to put the Sun Belt Conference in front and center to put the conference out there in front of other big folks?
Yeah, I think it's huge. App's playing such great football and such a national story. Article came out today on ESPN.com about their success and their growth. So a rising tide lifts all boats. So App football is great, is good for the Sun Belt. And I'm excited to be here. And Georgia Southern obviously has a great tradition. This is a great rivalry, so it'll be a fun game. It'll be a wet one, but it'll be a fun one.
What was your perception of App before you got into this job? Like, just kind of what did you know about it? How has it changed since you've gotten this job?
My perception has really just grown. I've always known about it. I mean, been a great FCS power. I was the AD at Richmond at one point, so obviously there's a lot of history between the University of Richmond and App in terms of football. And then obviously everyone knows about Michigan and some of the great upsets that App's had. And then they've had a great year, great win over North Carolina on the road, went on the road to Louisiana, which is a really great Sun Belt team and played really well. So I knew a lot about the App kind of football tradition, and it just continues to grow. They're doing such a great job this year.
As you think about it, there's a long way to go between now and the end of the season, but there is some New Year's Six discussion and some possibilities there. As you think about the magnitude of what that would mean for the Sun Belt, how does that, as you said, lift that tide even higher? And as the league office, are you guys? Is it a little bit like a political campaign? Are you doing things to kind of keep App's name out there in front of people so that when the time comes and the CFP rankings come out next week, they're front of mind?
Yes, we're doing everything we can. We're working with Doug Gill and his staff to make sure we tell the story in the right way and the best way to put App forward. Our goal as a league has always been to get one of our schools and get our football program into the New Year's Six. And so this has been the best opportunity, in the history of the Sun Belt to have that happen. So we're trying to do everything we can to help them. Now, the great thing is, fortunately, with Coach Drinkwitz and the team and the great job that they're doing, they've got the hard part, but we're going to do everything we can to support them and make sure that the CFP and really the nation understand what a great football program it is.
How important it is to get football on a national stage like this? What are the ripple effects that you see in some of your other sports that don't get as much media coverage?
Yeah, I think just getting the name out there in terms of being a quality conference top to bottom from an athletic standpoint. I mean, like I said earlier, a rising tide really lifts all boats. I think that's true in terms of football programs and football programs across the league, but I think that's also in terms of sports. If people think the Sun Belt is a great football conference, it generally trickles down and you get some credibility in all the other sports. So I think we want to be excellent. We want to be great in everything we do, whether it's tiddlywinks or football. We want to be outstanding and we do it. And so having great football is good for everyone. It's good for the league, and it's our primary sport, and so it's really important that we do it.
Was there really any way to foresee? I mean, you have a team in Appalachian, and really Georgia Southern too. They've had success in the Sun Belt since they've come up. Teams coming from the FCS level to the FBS level and sort of dominating the way that they have. I mean, has that been a good thing or a bad thing for your conference?
Yeah, I think it's been good. Winning is contagious, and the great thing is, both Georgia Southern and App State both won at the FCS level. They're used to winning, and so coming to the FBS level, I'm sure they were like, well, why would you stop now? And so I think winning is contagious, and I think it's been good for our league. I think our league has been elevated. If you think about it, last year we had the most non-conference wins in our history. We're on pace to do that again this year. We've had the best bowl winning percentage over the last 3 years of any FBS conference, and so adding quality programs to our league has been great, and we're really excited that Georgia Southern and App State are members of the Sun Belt.
At this point last year, your predecessor was talking about how the league had three really good teams that kind of gave it the chance for the Group of Five conversation. It was Troy, it was Georgia Southern, it was App at the time, and this year it seems like it's App, and that's really the best shot the league has. How does that affect the way you watch the rest of the season unfold when it's just one as opposed to a few teams that maybe have that chance?
Yeah, so we're working with Louisiana as well. We think they've got a great story to tell about being ranked in the top 25 in terms of what they're doing running the ball, the losses they've had. I mean, they've had 2 losses, and one of them is to App. So, from the conference standpoint, we're not only focused on App, but I would say App certainly is our best chance to be in a New Year's Six bowl, and we're doing everything we can to promote them and support them and work with the staff to make sure that story gets told in the best way.
Anything new or different that you guys will do to help promote the Sun Belt Championship game this year? Obviously, last year was the first time they'd done it, and I'm sure it was like any first-time event. Hey, here are the things we think we can do better, or the things we can do to promote ourselves in a more effective way. What are your kind of loose plans at this point?
Yeah, we're going to keep trying to promote it, and one of the things we did was we got our PSAs, or kind of commercials about it, up a little earlier. Got our site visits done a little earlier so we can have more signage, make sure that when we have our game presentation it's kind of the best we can be. So we did kind of take some of the lessons that we learned last year, kind of getting things done a little earlier, have a few more things that we'll be able to add because we can use some of the lessons that we learned last year. So we're really looking forward to our second championship and think it'll be really exciting and great football.